Okay, the key word for what we're going to talk about today, and I think for many things, if not everything in life, is context. You may or may not hear Mini Falcor here, okay? She's guarding. So you may hear a woof or two. What we want to talk about today is the upcoming new moon in Capricorn. New moon is always, as you know, the sun is in one sign and the moon is in the same sign, okay? As opposed to full moon, sun is in one sign, moon is in the opposite sign. So in this case, we're talking about the sun right now we're in Capricorn season, so the sun is in Capricorn and the moon will join it in the sign of Capricorn. This is going to take place for us here in California on the 12th at night. Depending where you are, it might be on the 13th. And why do I say context? Okay. I was looking back at the new moon in Capricorn of last year. At that time, Jupiter had already entered Capricorn, Saturn was in Capricorn, Pluto was in Capricorn. There was a bunch of stuff happening in Capricorn that gave that particular new moon, sun and moon in Capricorn, a ton of Capricornian extra dose of Capricorn energy and power, okay? Context for this year is completely different. Yesterday, I'm filming this on Saturday, and yesterday, actually, today's the 9th, yesterday the 8th, Venus stepped into Capricorn, Mercury stepped into Aquarius, and actually, as you know already, because you've seen my video for the Great Conjunction, Saturn is in Aquarius, Jupiter is in Aquarius, and Pluto is the only one of those three that were supporting all the Capricorn stuff last year that still remains in Capricorn. So we have a heavy energy. We have, right now, for this new moon, the sun and the moon, Venus, and still Pluto are in Capricorn, but you have Mercury, Saturn, and Jupiter all in Aquarius. It's a completely different ambiance that this new moon is taking place. This is the fascinating thing about astrology, right? So you have your natal chart, and that's like that image of what the heavens look like when you were born at the exact minute and time and everything. But then right after that image, everything continued to be in motion, and in motion at different rates and at different paces. And therefore the actual moment the moment of your birth, or any moment that we live in life, as you know, is unlike any other moment that you will ever live or have ever lived before. So this is the fascinating thing that astrology reminds us of. One, and the thing with context is this, we know that you can take a stem cell and put it in a petri dish surrounded by muscle cells, and it will become a muscle cell. You can take that same stem cell and put it into a petri dish surrounded by nerve cells, and it will become a nerve cell. The importance of environment, that is what I mean by context, okay? And so when we talked, when the ancients talked about astrology, this was a big deal. They always talked about astrology in terms of ambiance, context. What was happening in the heavens was going to dictate very much how we were going to have tendency to behave, to react, the patterns that we were going to follow. Okay, so I think it's fascinating to see this at a macro and at a micro level, because here now we have this one event, one astrological event, the new moon in Capricorn, which is taking place on the 12th or on the 13th, depending where you are, of January 2021, in a very completely different context than what we had last year for the very same astrological event, right? In fact, the new moon in Capricorn last year wasn't even in January. It was December 2019. And so it happened like 2 or 3 days after the sun stepped into Capricorn, shortly after the moon was in there. And so it happened all in December, shortly after the solstice. This year, it's happening in January. So we're already in a brand new year. You have all these planets in Aquarius. The Great Conjunction has already passed. It's activated and triggered all this Aquarian energy. And so that is the context in which you have to look at this new moon, okay? Key when we're looking at astrological events, of course, is where does this fall in my birth chart? Okay, so this is why every time that I do these videos, I remind you guys, always bring your birth chart to these videos. So you come with your birth chart and you're gonna be like, okay, so my second house, that's where Capricorn is. But it starts on the degree 25. Okay, so because the new moon in Capricorn is gonna take place at 23 degrees of Capricorn, if your house, that particular house, falls on 24 or 25 degrees Capricorn, then this event is going to take place in the house before. Okay, so this is how specific we have to get. And degrees are important in astrology. If you don't understand this part of astrology, I think I discussed this in my Fundamentals of Astrology video in this same channel. If not, I definitely discussed it in my course, but my course is only available in Spanish right now, but I will be doing a course in English very, very soon. Look up degrees. Basically, every sign in every house has 30 degrees, okay? Depends on which system you use, but every sign has 30 degrees. And so, you know, the planet is moving through the degrees, through the sign, and it's like, oh, when it first gets in, there's 0 degrees. Then it moves 1, 2, 3, 4, 29th would be the last degree, and then we stepped into the next sign, okay? Degrees matter. Why? Right now, for the new moon in Capricorn, you have, you know, certain planets that are also in the sign of Capricorn, such as Venus, for example, and you have Pluto. But Venus just stepped into Capricorn, okay? So it's at the early degrees. This new moon in Capricorn is going to happen at 23 degrees, the later degrees of Capricorn, okay? Pluto, on the other hand, is currently at 24 degrees Capricorn. It's going to be there for a while because Pluto, of course, being the farthest planet, is going to move way, way slower. Venus moves a lot quicker. And so the proximity matters, just like the context matters, okay? And this is the difference between, say, intention and proximity. The planet may be in a particular sign that helps or is the same or is compatible with or really, you know, resonant with the sun and the moon in Capricorn, the actual new moon sign, right? But because it's not super close in degree, it's almost like you have really, really good intentions. Okay, conjunctions. Planets next to each other in the same sign, okay, which is the case here, Venus, Pluto, with the sun and the moon in the new moon. Imagine if you have, you want to help your friend. This is what happens in a conjunction, right? This is what happens when planets are in the same sign. This planet wants to help this other planet. You want to help your friend. You're this planet, you're going to go, you're going to help, you're going to assist, you're going to give it all your good stuff, all the stuff you got, you guys are going to work together. But when the degrees are not close enough, it's like this. It's like as if you want to help your friend, but you have a really good intention. You may be on the same page and everything, but you're so far away that you can't really lend a hand. Okay? Proximity matters. Degrees matter because they tell you about proximity. So in this case, with this new moon, we're talking about the new moon in Capricorn at 23 degrees with Pluto being at 24 degrees. So in this case, Pluto does really have close enough proximity as far as degrees to, it's in conjunction because it's 1 degree apart, and it's in the same sign, and it's really there to work with and to help out this new moon. So what does Pluto bring to the table as far as the what of the planet? Pluto is the planet of 2 major things. 1, personal power. Okay, so a big deal for this, and I'll give you some coaching questions at the end, a big deal for this new moon in Capricorn is going to be the theme of your own personal power, how empowered you feel to do what you need to do in your life. And I often talk about the book Power versus Force by David Hawkins. It's a really great explanation of what really true empowerment means and how we, you know, kind of bring about events or situations or manifestations in our life based on our own personal power instead of forcing things, okay? I highly recommend it. So that's one of the things, it's personal power. But the other thing is transformation, okay? Pluto is the planet of personal transformation. This means death and rebirth cycle. So that's going to be another theme for this new moon in Capricorn, okay? In a sense, we're almost getting rid of also all the Capricornian energy that we had with the triple conjunction of last year, which is highly connected to the breakdown of authorities and structures that we have been living with for many, many, many years, okay? The whole patriarchy, etc. So key things that I want you to think about for this new moon: always new moons, full moons are great portals for journaling, for, sort of setting your intention. A new moon, of course, is a restart. So it's a great time to set an intention for what am I going to do, for the next couple of weeks or cycle or of the moon, okay? And so the coaching questions that I would give you, because we're talking about Capricornian energy, heavy Capricornian energy and heavy Aquarian energy. So it's not just heavy Capricornian, heavy Aquarian energy, because Saturn is in there, Jupiter's in Aquarius right now, Mercury has already shifted into Aquarius. We're going to talk about building, which is what Capricorn is all about in the most productive sense of the word, the most productive sense of the sign. And truth, which is a huge deal for Aquarius. Okay, remember the water bearer, right? Bringing all the knowledge, all the science. The veil has shifted. We stepped from out of Piscean mysticism and into the whole, like, let me bring science together with spirituality, together with all the things that we need to know to really understand who we are. Okay, so it's this truth with a capital T that Aquarian energy brings. So the two coaching questions that I want you to use as journal prompts for the new moon are these. The first one would be, what do I truly wish to build? What do I really, really want to build in this year, for the next 90 months, for Q1 of 2021, whatever time period you may want to give it, whatever you feel, however it is that you do your planning. What do I really want to wish to build? Okay, that's one of your empowering questions that you're going to ask yourself. Even if you don't do it as a journal prompt and you don't write stuff down, ponder it, think about it. When you're in the shower, feel it out. See what information comes from that question. Before you go to sleep at night, ask yourself the question. See what you dream. See what you can get from it the morning after, okay? And the second question that I want you to use as a journal prompt or as a empowering coaching question to ask is this. What truth will I base this on? So whatever this is that you're going to build, that you wish to, that you want to build, there's going to be a fundamental truth behind that. What is the truth, or what are the truths that I'm going to build this based on? Okay? And that is important because a lot of times we're building, castles in the air. We're building things based on old dreams. We're building things based on old structures. We're building things based on what other people told us we should do, should have, should want. No shoulds in this, okay? So you're going to ask yourself, what do I wish to build? And you're going to ask yourself, what truth am I going to build this? Am I going to base this on? Okay? Those two questions are really going to help you with this new moon in Capricorn. It's always all about, using the energy that's available to you in astrology so that you can then do whatever you wish to do with your life, because you are the master and commander of your own life and your own existence, okay? Energies are available to you. You have the capacity to understand the context in which you are a part of, and you also have the choice to actually take creative reins of this whole dynamic. And that's what I wish for you to do, okay? So you can always email me at maril@marilsalispaz.com for a birth chart reading, an AstroCoaching session. We do something similar to this where we're asking the big important questions for you based on what it is that we see there that is important for your own purpose, for your soul purpose, for your design, whatever it is that you came to do here. We all have a purpose for being here. Nothing is random, okay? And that's another thing that I love about astrology, that it really tells you, listen, you picked this whole thing, this whole arrangement, this whole design, all your traits, all like your quirks, all of your talents, your challenges, all of those are going to help you to achieve whatever it is that you came to achieve, because nobody's here to just laze out on the couch, okay? You're here to do something. You're here to be someone. And once you discover what that is, things flipped. The script completely becomes your own, and you become aligned with everything that you are meant to be attracting, manifesting. I'm not a big fan of the word manifestation because I believe things are already inherently there for you. You just have to align with them and get on the right path. Okay, and many of us, due to what I call imposter content, would be limiting beliefs or childhood trauma, or inner child issues, or stagnant energy that doesn't allow us to do things. We kind of veer off that path, and what we need to do is rediscover what that path is, realign with it, and really live our most beautiful version of whatever our life was meant to be. Okay, you're meant to be here for a reason, and we need you. We need your light. So many blessings. You can always find me on Instagram as well, at Maril Solis Paz, and me and Mini Falcor here say bye to you, and many, many, many blessings.